Bash Ki Tavo in the brachas on the klolis. In the middle of the brachas, we find the pasuk Ki V'rou kol amei haaretz Ki Shem Hashem nikra alecha v'yom imecha. All the nations of the world will see how the name of Hashem is called upon you, and they will fear you. This is a bracha that's found inside among the brachas, and we know that Chazal tells us it's tefillin sharash, different drashas that we learn from this pasuk. But there's also, obviously, in this pasuk, there's also a mitzvah. It's an obligation and a responsibility that we have to realize that a yid has the Shem Hashem Nikra Alecha, and he always has to be cognizant of the fact that when people look at him, they look at him as a Jew, and they don't look at him as an individual. They look at him as part of the Jewish nation, and he represents the Jewish nation. Rav Pam in his Sefer Atar LaMelech, he details the ideas, what's called Tos Akum, when a person is involved in business dealings with other people who are not Jewish or not of the Jewish faith, and they're found, a person has to be so careful, says Rav Pam, to make sure that all his dealings are honest with Jews and also with non-Jews. And for a certain aspect, dealing with people who are not Jewish has an even bigger responsibility, because it has a greater potential for Kiddush Hashem and Chas v'Shalom for Chilul Hashem. If a person makes a mistake, even an honest mistake, who's talking about a dishonest mistake, but a person makes an honest mistake, a person has to do his maximum to correct the mistake, to make sure that there should never be a situation where there will be a potential for Chas v'Shalom, a Chilul Hashem, among our dealings between us and between other nations. In the Rambam Pirush Mishnayos, interestingly enough, in the middle of Maseches Kelim, we're talking about different kelim, talking about different stones that have to be very honest, and the coins should be complete coins, and shouldn't be any damage in the coins. And also the Rambam goes off on a tangent how important it is to make sure with our dealings with other people, to make sure that we're always involved and always responsible, to make sure to always try and make a Kiddush Hashem. Rav Pam says that I can testify that there were situations where I know people personally who said they're going to do a little bit of the gray area here, gray area there, in order to make another little bit of money. Nobody will ever know about it. Not only do people find out about it, but it led to tremendous and terrible Chilul Hashem. A person has to be so careful about it. Ber HaGoyla even discusses the situation of honest Tos Akum. A person goes to the store, and he goes home and he finds more change than he was supposed to get. Is he obligated to go back and give it back? Is he not obligated to give it back? There's different halachic nuances to this, but the Ber HaGoyla adds on this halacha, says that if a person decides to make a Kiddush Hashem and go above and beyond what the Torah requires, and he gives it back to make a Kiddush Hashem, obviously it's a big schus, and he'll get a big bracha. And the Ber HaGoyla says that it's yadua. I know personally situations where people tried to make a quick dollar dishonestly, and they ended up losing everything. It led to Chilul Hashem and everything else. And the people who were honest, and they went above and beyond, and when they were able to make the Kiddush Hashem, they were blessed with success beyond what they could have imagined. It's well known, the great philanthropist, Rav Moshe Reichman, Zechron Levracha, there's many stories about his honesty. One story that I recall, that I remember, was a woman who started working in a bank. And one day the bank manager called her and said, I want you to join a meeting. We're going to have a meeting now with a potential businessman who wants to take a loan, wants to take credit from the bank in order to build a project. And as they're sitting around the table, she said the gentleman came in, presented his project, explained the terms, and the manager and the businessman came to an agreement. They shook their hands and everybody left. And the woman said to the manager, aren't we going to write this up and sign a contract? I mean, there's details here. We have to make sure that this person is going to keep up all his responsibilities that he took upon himself, all his obligations. And the bank manager said to her, this is Mr. Reichman. When he says something, his word is gold. We don't have to write it. We don't have to sign it. His word for me is enough. And we know very well how Baruch Hashem, how Kadosh Baruch Hu mentioned him for so many years with the material success, and that he used it for the right things. But the point Rav Pam is making, the pasuk Ki Shem Hashem Nikra is a bracha, but it's also an obligation and also a responsibility. Good Shabbos. Please don't forget to subscribe. You'll get the video every week by subscribing. Put a like. Thank you very much. Good Shabbos.